Bye. That was a nice sight.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Yep. Oh yeah!
Brave souls. Or crazy, one of the two.
Apparently.
Looks like it.
So, this is Monday the 20th, I think, of May, Victoria Day. And in case you haven't realized, we are no longer in the back country. You probably saw some footage of the boat ride. It got a little quick and a little choppy on the open water, so I didn't think it would be all that wise to film the entire trip. Plus, it took about 45 minutes. Give or take. So needless to say, Parks Canada staff came by to pick us up at Morrison Harbour at just after 10 o'clock in the morning. We had to get on some floating jackets and got our gear on board, proceeded to head back to Hattie Cove, which is basically where the visitor center is and the front country camping is located. We immediately went to our vehicles and stripped off all of our gear. We drove through the limited front country camping because it's still actually very early in the camping season. Found actually our original site that we had when we first came here, and we booked it for at least one more night. Got our shower stuff together, some fresh clothes, showered desperately, and then headed into Marathon, which is a roughly 15-minute drive. Had some much anticipated fast food and picked up a few supplies like snacks, and Tanya had really wanted to roast some sausages on the open fire, so we picked some up and some condiments. Made our way back to camp and just finished making camp, setting up, and just chillaxing, updating friends and family back home as to what we were going to do. Tanya has made arrangements with friends in Thunder Bay to stay there, and James is actually going to be flying home to Windsor tomorrow afternoon as well. So I will be on my own for the next little duration, who knows how long. So I'll probably spend one more night here. There's a few trails that I can check out here in the park, and I'll take you along for those rides, to be continued. Sorry about that, folks, but you know I don't like filming others or being watched filming myself. So anyways, so yeah, there's 2 or 3 trails here in the park, ranging from 1.5 to I think 3.5 kilometers, and I'll probably take those in tomorrow, especially since I don't have to worry about carrying a 30+ pound backpack. Take you along for those. So one more night here, and there's also Lake Superior Provincial Park further south, and on my way home as well, so we can look into doing that as well. Just a quick note, so if you are looking to do the coastal trail here in Pukaskwa, 2 things. First of all, make sure you purchase the guide to the park from Chrismar, and you can actually get that directly from their website. I will provide the link down below in the video description. It will give you not just a map of the trail, but it will also give you kind of like a cross section of the coast itself, as well as some elevation changes. So before you plan the trip, and it is, believe me, it's quite challenging, lots of up and downs every single day. And it's also, at least, I would say, I think I've heard people do it in 4 days. 5 would be much more comfortable. 6 would even be better. Just to do one direction, and then you can either choose to hike back, or you can reach out to North Shore Adventure, who will either pick you up at the end or drop you off at the end, your choice. Now, in terms of how we got back, during the mandatory orientation, they will give you a series of phone numbers. So one is the kiosk at the front of the gate. The other is the duty officer, and then of course there's an after hours emergency number that you can call directly through Parks Canada. Now in our case, we actually did not have an emergency. Nobody had a broken bone or was near death or had frostbite, nothing like that, but we still needed to be extracted from the backcountry. So in that regard, Parks Canada, through our emergency contacts, my wife and Tanya's father, we were basically told to go through North Shore. Now, unfortunately, my wife had called both of the owners, I think a husband and wife team. Both of them went to voicemail, no callback, and I believe even to this day, so we're now 24 or 36 hours later, still no callback. So we basically had to go back to Parks Canada and say, we're not getting anywhere. So they made the arrangements to extract us out of the backcountry. And I'm going to get out of the seat because somebody is doing rounds. Hey there, folks. Mike here. And as you can see, I'm at home. Not that you know what my house looks like, but still, I've actually been home for a little bit more than a week and a half, almost 2 full weeks. Got home about midweek, about I think Wednesday or so. I was able to make an appointment to see my massage therapist the following Friday, so I was only home for just like a couple of days until I was actually able to see some kind of a medical practitioner. And didn't really get a diagnosis of sorts, but obviously got up on the table, kind of described to her what was happening to me on the trail. I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, but even at home, if I'm walking up or down the stairs, or very rarely if I'm out and about, what will happen is my left Achilles, so just the little piece of tendon between the heel and the bottom of your calf. I'm not going to get into like the true medical connectivity of tissues, but just in terms of what I feel is just that little bit of tendon. Basically, there's like a really intense and sharp pain, and even though the pain kind of subsides a little bit, I feel as though I can't put any weight on it whatsoever. Now, usually when this happens at home or, not on the trail, that twinge would happen. I would kind of like, rotate my foot around a little bit and it would dissipate and I could walk again or go up the stairs or go down the stairs, whatever the case may be. What was happening on the trail was that it kept happening multiple times. Well, like not constantly, but several times a day, where in between episodes, I typically would have been able to walk without any discomfort. That wasn't the case on the trail at all. So I was having a lot of discomfort, quite a bit of pain. I was walking, or I was hobbling and limping quite a bit, and relying on my trekking poles quite a bit as well. From my perspective, I really did need to get off trail for a couple of reasons. First of all, I knew that I couldn't hike any longer or any further. And secondly, because I had a bigger trip planned to Scotland in just a couple of weeks' time in between, I had to do whatever I could in order to make sure that that did not go belly up in one form or another. So massage therapist put me on the table, did a number on me, and basically my walking orders after that was to take it easy, don't go for long walks. Something obviously got aggravated, and it was a matter of getting in touch with a physiotherapist and see what the situation was there. So my massage therapist has been trying to get me to see a physiotherapist for quite some time. So Sonia, you've got your way finally, yes. And I was able to get an appointment relatively quickly. And the initial, and to this day, now that it's been more than a week of seeing both practitioners, the clinical diagnosis is the following. So left Achilles tendinopathy due to a muscle imbalance of the lower limb and there's some words that I don't even want to try and pronounce, so I'm guessing between like say like the heel slash plantar and of course the calf and the tibia. So the exercises that I've been tasked with would be like balancing on my left foot, all my weight on my left foot, and hold that for about 30 seconds, distributing my weight between say like my big toe, my pinky toe, like at the ball joint, and my heel. There's some leg lifts off a stair. So unfortunately I can't lift my body weight with a single foot at this point. So the counteraction to that is to lift my body weight with both legs and then come down on the one left foot and basically repeat that several times. Another interesting exercise was to squeeze a tennis ball between my behind and under my ankle joint between the feet, and then again do leg raises. There's also a very interesting exercise that I was asked to do, and I think it has something to do with part of the diagnosis here. The last comment about the diagnosis was that it had an increased neural tension of the tibial nerve. So the exercise to kind of address that, and this is going to be a little weird, so I'm going to do what I can to show you. When your foot is out, you curl your toes upwards, and you also tilt your foot inwards. So it's kind of like this, right? But then you basically keep that and do leg raises. And it is the strangest thing to try and not only accomplish in the first place, but also to keep that foot in that position and do leg raises. So it was kind of weird. And there's also a lot of stretching, and I've discovered just how tight my plantars are, which is the tendon under the foot that connects all your toes and wiggles them and everything else. So for those of you that are looking at self-care when you're on the trail, I will try to find some links online to put in the video description down below to help you with some self-care while you're on the trail. I have marching orders to continue these exercises and stretches while I'm in Scotland to try and help mitigate any further issues, and things have improved, but I have been still feeling a little bit of a twinge once in a while, but it's a lot more infrequent as to when it actually occurs and not nearly as bad, and it also recovers very, very quickly as well. So very, very different stuff. I am flying out to Scotland in 2 days. So needless to say, things are a little busy here in terms of getting things packed. Initially, Paul and I thought that we weren't needing our tents because we intended to stay at some bothies, but talking to the local ranger, it looks like those bothies fill quickly. So he suggested that we bring our tents just to be on the safe side. And the terrain is anything from rocky to hilly, and maybe not as I'm personally not anticipating as much of a technical trail as say Pukaskwa or the Bruce Trail, for example, but that's not really based on anything. My initial thought of Scotland is just like big rolling green hills, and that's about it. So I'm sure that will be tested at some point and corrected as well. That's about it for now. Any questions, concerns, comments about the hike, the booking, the park, what to do when you're there, the gear that I've used? As usual, folks, just leave those comments below. I will get to them as quickly as possible. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you get these videos in your feed as they come about. And we will see you next time. Until then, take care, folks.